Who are you? Not your name, not your blood type, not your career. Who are you? When anyone asks you, who are you? What do you say? That's the hardest question. Who am I? Who am I is one of the most mind-boggling instances of thought that there ever has. It has boggled high IQs people, or people with high IQs, since the time of Albert Einstein, Sigmund Freud. I mean, the list is endless. Aristotle, Plato, the geniuses of the world, Tesla. They only came this close to knowing the truth. They had an idea of what it was, but they never even scratched the surface of what it really is. Scientists today are calling it consciousness, which is, to the best of our vocabulary, the thing that we can use to understand it most. The word consciousness, awareness, knowing our state of being. That means alive, but in a different form. So I want to paint a picture for you. This was shown me during one of my trips, and yeah, of course, into the spiritual realm. So think of a lantern or a hurricane lamp. Just think of that scenario. That vessel, like a lantern, I think a hurricane lamp would be better for us to understand as Africans. So we are hurricane lamps. That's why Jesus said, "You are the light of the world." See, all of us were born with this light in us, but that light dimmed and became darkness because we are a hurricane lamp. So what happened when we were now in Adam's state of sin? We were conjoined to each other like prisoners who are joined together with chains. They could not roam about, they could not do anything other than just stay and be. Now the thing is, that lantern is also God's image. So God is a lantern, and that is to our very ability to know what the spiritual realm looks like. So think of God as a hurricane lamp. We say God is light. He dwells in unapproachable light. And if any human being was to see him or were to see him, he would instantly be obliterated. So God is that lantern. And he made us in his image, little lanterns. But these lanterns were freely flowing, freely moving, full of free will. Think about it like fireflies moving at night. Remember, there was dense darkness before the creation of the heavens and the earth, and before God said, "Let there be light." So it had always perpetually been black, and God was the only source of light, the lantern. Eternally light, eternally a lantern. And that's why when he created human beings in his own image, what happened? There are people who really hated that idea because, according to them, humans were puny. One of them is Lucifer, the angel of light. He does not have an approachable light, but he is a light vessel himself. He emits light. Lucifer means to emit a lot of light. So God had bestowed upon Lucifer something beautiful, some of his light. And he was the most beautiful of creatures ever created in the spirit and also in the physical. So when we assume God's image, that made us little lanterns, signifying the source of all light, God. God had passed on to us the light that makes us who we are, and that light is our consciousness. So we dwell perpetually in that state. The only difference is, one, we are joined together like we are joined together with chains. So we are always in a row, all 8 billion of us, we are joined together. And God is there on Mount Zion as the king of everything, monitoring everything. And you will see that, of course, we resemble God in every form, shape, idea, thought, consciousness, behavior, everything. We mirror God. The problem is the Adamic sin that now entangled us to that sin. We cannot leave that state of sin. But God, instead of dimming or extinguishing that light that was in our lantern, he allowed us to continue living, existing, having that consciousness within that light, within that lantern or hurricane lamp. The problem is we were shackled together for a period until God sent Jesus Christ, his only begotten Son, to come and break the shackles so that we may be free. Free again to roam about the universe, God's creation, having a walk with God, as it were, in the Garden of Eden. All that is consciousness, and we exist in consciousness. Think about those babies that were in those tubes full of amniotic fluid in the Matrix movie. So we are controlling everything from our mind. Our mind is that light manifest in the physical realm. Remember, we are lanterns existing in utter darkness, with God as the source of light, having also bestowed on us that light. We are like God. We are the superiors. Yes? Now, the kicker. We definitely can stay in that light. None of us have no sin, for Jesus said, if you look at a woman and have a longing for her, you've already committed adultery with her in your heart. So who can be saved? With man, these things are impossible, but with God, all things are possible. And that's why I'm happy today to have the knowledge, to have the exposure that I had during the trip. And I think it was a blessing. That's why God says, do not fear those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. So the soul is that light, that lantern in us, in that realm. And we will never be dimmed unless, of course, we become unworthy and not believe, and we're thrown in the lake of that burns with fire and sulfur, thus dimming our light, because there's no more source of light for us. So think about it. We are lanterns, hurricane lamps that are in the same shape, form of God, but now we are shackled together because of our sin. So, whether you believe it or not is up to you. But that's what I know. Not what I believe, that's what I know.